Hello everyone, this is Chandana Yukta and I have Kingsley, Bukola Ononrejivaju and Grace Songok on my team. So today in this presentation we'll be talking about leadership style and approach of Draupadi Murmu and Keir Starmer. So let us see the background of Draupadi Murmu. So Draupadi Murmu was born in 1958 in the region of Odisha and she belongs to Santala tribe. So Santala tribe was a tribal community in Odisha and she was appointed as a governor of Jharkhand in May 2015. She served as the first female governor of Jharkhand and the first tribal woman of Odisha to be appointed as a governor in any Indian state. So she was the first female governor of Jharkhand and she was the first female tribal women of Odisha to be appointed as appointed as a position of government position in India. So she held that position until 2021, and then she was elected as the 15th president of India in the year 2022 of July month, and succeeding Ramnath Kovind. Notably, the first tribal woman to hold the office of president in India's history. So she was the 15th president of India, and she advocated for tribal welfare and social justice. Next slide. So, let us see the what style or what approach did Draupadi Murmu carry in her leadership. So, Draupadi Murmu leadership is characterized as transformation. So, she was to characterize as a transformational leadership. This was driven by deep roots of grassroots activism and her commitment to upliftment of marginalized communities. So, we consider her as a transformational leadership because we saw her through the deep roots in the grassroots activism and her commitment to uplift the marginalized communities and tell them that even they can come forward and become a leader as she became. So transformation leadership is nothing but it is to inspire the followers, empower the followers, and elevate the followers through a shared vision. Next slide. So now let us see the strengths in the leadership approach, the strengths of her leadership approach. So first one is empowerment of marginalized communities. So Murmu's initiative in Jharkhand, where she advocated for improved infrastructure, education, and healthcare for tribal communities, underscore her commitment to inclusivity. So Murmu took the initiative in the Jharkhand. Where she was advocating for improving the infrastructure of education and healthcare for the tribal community people. And later, her election as India's first tribal women president sends a powerful message of the representations for communities to long exclude from the mainstream politics. So after she became her like the president, that was inspiration for and that was role model for many other communities, which is lower community and which was excluded from the mainstream of politics. So second one is grounded in personal experience. Having overcome significant personal and socio-economic challenges, Momo's background lent authentically to her leadership. So Momo was because she was a tribal woman, she didn't have many of experience, so she had to overcome the personal and socio-economic challenges, and which lends the authenticity to her leadership. So her journey inspires many from disadvantaged backgrounds, aligned the transformational leadership's emphasis on shared values and vision. So this journey inspired many disadvantaged background people and had a hope that even they can become leader one day. So third one is advocacy for educational and social justice. So earlier in her career, she was a teacher, and she thought the education was the main tool for social change. So she reinforced her image as a leader who campaigns long-term societal empowerment. Next slide. So now let us also see the weakness of Draupadi Murmu's leadership. First one is limited assertiveness in political affairs. Murmu's leadership has been critiqued for lacking strong public stances on important national issues, leading to perception of passivity in the political environment that often requires strong leadership. So Murmu has been critic for lacking the strong public stances on the important national issues, which led to perception of passivity in the political environment. And second one is political inexperience in at national level. So despite of her administrative roles, Murmu's political experience at the national level is somewhat limited. So people think that her, because of lack of exposure, she has very limited political knowledge when it comes to national level of experience. So when the president role requires diplomatic tact, national decision making, political acumen, and so on, and that and all were a limited experience that could pose challenges. Third one is perceived lack of political independence. Given her affiliated with the BJP, there are concerns about her ability to act independently as president. Critics argue that her strong ideology alignment with the ruling party could limit her ability to act impartially. Thank you.
I'm Kingsley Omreji by name, and to speak on the threat theory. Threat theory suggests that ineffective leaders inherit personal qualities such as resilience, integrity, and empathy. In the case of Mahmoud, her life story enlightened several key traits like resilience and determination, empathy, and integrity. These traits have not only enabled her of her personal success, but inspired those around her, making her a role model for the community empowerment. Then we have two theories that characterize the Mahmoud administration, such like the leaders-members exchange. This leader-members exchange talks about the hierarchical information or relationship between the leader and the follower, which is the subordinate. We have the high-quality exchange. We have personal leadership, and Mahmoud leadership is marked by commitment to actively engage with constituents, especially in marginalized tribal communities. Her accessible and empathy approach fostering in a strong, trusted-based relationship that empower her follower and create collaborative environment for change. The connectivity between the threat and the LB theories, this talks about the hierarchical relationship that exists between the leader and the subordinate. Meanwhile, the threat theory talks about the inherent skills, ability of leader, making sure that plans are being executed. The threat theory have the strength and weakness. One of the strengths is intrusive appeal. This intrusive appeal resonates with a common perception. We often look for qualities to determination and the compassion of a leader. Then we also have one of the weaknesses also talks about the context neglect. This approach is trying to underplay the situation and contextual factors. For example, Mahmoud's leadership is shaped by ceremonial constraint of India's presidency and political environment aspect in a threat theory does not fully be captured. Then we have LMX theory also have the strength and the weaknesses. The strength talks about the focuses on the relationship between the leader and the follower. Why we have adaptability. Adaptability also tell us the leadership interaction to the needs of individual community members. Like the case of Mahmoud can more actively address the local challenges. Then one of the weaknesses talks about the political for in-group basis can also lead to favoritism, nepotism, where the leader develop strong relationship with a certain follower, potentially marginalize others who have measures challenges assessing the quality of a leader. Members exchange can subject and may vary across contexts, making difficult to evaluate the constants. Thank you.
My name is Bukola. I'll be talking about Karaman Stata. Karaman Stata was born in 1962 in Works, London, England. He was the leader. He is the leader of the Labour Party and a prime minister. Became a prime minister in July 2024. He was formerly a director of public prosecution. He has a strong background in human rights and justice. He became he became the Labour Party leader in 2020 to rebuild the credibility after the party lost election in 2020 in 2019. The leadership style of Carmen Statta is described to be a transformational leader based on his character and ability to to motivate his followers. Carmen Statta has been he has been a credible he has been a part he has been a part a credible builder of the Labour Party, and for that reason he has been able to shape the mindset of his people, to his followers, to understand the fact that to understand its fact and its political drive. The strengths of his leadership: number one, firstly, was him rebuilding his party. He was being able to rebuild his party, and for his leadership skill started in his party before being a prime minister. Secondly, he was able to demonstrate leadership skill, and he was able to hold the government accountable. In the process of being able to hold the government accountable during the pandemic, advocating for the public health sectors. The weakness of his leadership, firstly, was lack of charismatic. The followers were critics. The critics was all about him not being able to. He was tame in lack of charismatic because he was not able to make both decision and reformation during his period as a party leader, and during his period as a party leader. And also he was very criticized for not having he was not having consistent policies and vision for the country. Trade theory is one of the theory we used to describe the leadership of Carmen Statta. Trade theory can be described as ability for a person to have a character, which a personalized character which is able to build his leadership. Based on Statta's case, he was able to, for him being a barrister and a former director of public prosecutor, he was being able to, he has different kind of traits such as intellectual, emotional control, being ethnicity focused, and being ethnicity focused. With these few traits, he was able to stand in his stand grounds and be motivated, being able to motivate others in having just and true leadership.
My name is Grace Songok. Moving on with Stama, we'll talk about his second leadership theory, which is the behavioral leadership theory. This theory emphasizes on the leader's actions rather than personal traits. So the first action is that Stama is task-oriented and has controlled behavior. His leadership style is highly structured, seen with his public speeches that are very meticulously planned. He also has a professional image that has helped reshape the party's name. The second action is that he has a focus on stability and order. His leadership reflects an approach that is focused on structure and order. And then third action is that he has limited participatory engagement. While his style ensures consistency, it has also been critiqued for marginalizing and reducing inclusiveness. So the connectivity between the trait and behavioral theories is evident. We can talk about how the leadership is deeply influenced by individual leader traits. In the case of Stammer, his intellect and emotional control that are ingrained in his personality contribute to his leadership style. For example, he's cautious and he's got very measured public demeanor. The trade-offs in his leadership effectiveness, or while Stammer's his leadership strengths, such as ethical focus and reliability, they also create certain challenges, like his discipline and structure. It contributes to stable governance, but limits his ability to inspire and connect with people. This highlights an important part of leadership, and it shows that leadership can both be empowering and restrictive. So Stammer's task-oriented behavior is a direct extension of his traits. Moving on to the trait theory, the strength of the theory emphasizes on the characteristics that makes leadership effective. The qualities such as his integrity and emotional control are seen as stable predictors of success. In Stammer's case, his disciplined legal background and ethics align well with this theory. Additionally, it's easy to understand this theory as it offers a clear checklist of attributes that help us to compare leaders across different contexts. The weaknesses include lack of contextual sensitivity. While Stammer's calmness helps to restore credibility, it may be perceived as a lack of charisma, which can be a disadvantage in politics. And another issue is that this leadership styles, it assumes that the leadership is fixed and ignores the possibility of growth in a leader. So leadership is not just about traits, about how it's applied in different situations. The strengths of the behavioral theory include it is able to have observable actions. This in the case of Stammer, we can see that he has methodical and task-oriented approach, which can be observed and assessed. And also it provides actionable insights. So by studying this leadership behavior, we can identify which cells work best in different scenarios. The weaknesses include it neglects inner process. While it describes what leaders do, it doesn't always explain why they behave that way. And also, it overlooks the context. So, his structured leadership is effective in times of crisis, but in situations where they require more public engagement, it's not beneficial. Moving on to the conclusion, we can see that Drupadi and Stammer are both good examples of transformational leaders. Each of them has a unique background. Drupadi is focused on activism and empowerment of marginalized communities, while Stammer focuses on discipline and ethical governance. They all have very strong personal traits and also face different challenges. Drupadi struggles with political assertiveness, while Stammer struggles with being charismatic. And their journeys both highlight the impact of personal experiences, leadership theories, and the changing nature of leadership. Moving on to the recommendations, some of the recommendations this report suggests Drupadi includes she needs to enhance her political assertiveness by engaging more in policy discussions. She needs to strengthen independent decision making and avoid being biased towards party affiliations. And she needs to increase participation in national discussions to establish a stronger leadership presence. For Stammer, we recommend that he works on his charisma. He needs to improve and have an emotional connection with the public. And he should also focus on being more engaging and being a passionate communicator. He should also clarify his vision for the Labour Party. He needs to provide a clear and consistent roadmap to improve its credibility. And he needs to demonstrate policy boldness. This is by taking strong, decisive stances on key issues that will help to strengthen the public confidence in his leadership. Thank you.